Welcome to Israeli Frenemies, the weekly show broadcast out of Tel Aviv, Israel. We get the right and left together to duke out the hottest subjects of the week. I want to welcome my co-host, I guess partner in crime, Uri Zaki. How you doing? How was your week?
Hi, Ari. It was very good, mainly because it was Yom Ha'atzmaut, Independence Day. Obviously, you know, for us, both of us, and all of us who love our country, it's Israel's 69th birthday anniversary.
You know, the contrast always between Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day, and
right.
It's very difficult. I had a father of one of the soldiers who was killed in my unit. He's staying by me for a couple of days, and that flip between sorrow and happiness is really a difficult thing to do. But I want to show you something. I got this little pin. It's actually a fantastic little pin. It was like, the idea was that I'm walking around with this, and the truth of the matter is, out of Israel, it's a little bit of a problem to walk around with this lit up like this. I think that, thank God we're back in the land of Israel, and it was a little cute thing to walk around, and, a lot of pride about Israel.
Unfortunately, it was probably made in China, but, it's good. It's good enough.
Are we talking about Trump today? All right, well, let's get to our first subject. We're going to have a very heated show today, so stay tuned.
So we're filming this show a day after Donald Trump hosted the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas at the White House, and it's. I think it's kind of different. I keep being amazed by how persistent this non-persistent president is, and I'm talking about Trump, about solving the unsolvable. I mean,
I'm happy it's unsolvable.
No, I don't think so. I think it's. But I think he sees a challenge here. He heard that all his predecessors failed. Somehow, he decided that this would be one of his, key points of policy, and I truly respect him for that. And by the way, I do believe that unlike his predecessors, definitely his last predecessor, President Obama, he has a better chance of, has better credit with this current Israeli government, and I think he therefore has more leverage. I do think also that it needs to be reminded that the settler movement that you're part of is probably now devastated, because when he was first elected, the thoughts were that Messiah has arrived.
Not at all.
And, all the settlements will be annexed.
Let's clear up some facts. Number one, no one ever called them Messiah. It's not the settlers, not his supporters. That might be an exaggeration.
Although he's a redhead like King David.
Right. But that might have been the exaggerations of the liberal left. In America, no one called him Messiah. I myself was pro-Trump, but not because I think he's a fantastic individual. I just think he was the best of the two options. That being said, the discussion that Abbas and Trump had in the White House was very nice. Trump said, and by the way, the worst thing you can do to Donald Trump is challenge him. He's going to take the challenge. But what's interesting is while Abbas was making statements after statement after statement, Trump just said, I want a deal to happen, but I can't force everyone to go into the deal. The real issue here is the following, and I think this is a big, big problem. You see, the conflict is about a difference in culture. It's about the way people speak, the way people act, and it's not necessarily about land. I think that, Abbas, when he was quoted several months ago saying that he welcomes and praises all Jewish blood spilled in Jerusalem, and then goes to the White House and says, I'm really for peace, I think Trump is playing him. If I had to guess, I think he's playing him. I think he wants to show
What's his interest?
His interest is I think Trump is showing the world, like you admitted, that he's not the crazy man that everyone thought he was.
So I think he really thinks he can do it.
Of course he does.
He spoke about it before the election.
I understand.
He's promoting it.
Right.
Jason Greenblatt,
right.
Was very serious in his meetings.
Of course. So are the Israeli leaders. But the problem, Uri, is that every time that we made concessions or a peace deal, starting from Oslo, by the way, the death rate rose.
Really? With Egypt? What about Egypt?
One second, I'm talking about Israel now. One second, I'm talking about Israel.
I'm talking about Israel?
I'm talking right now about the PLO. From Oslo, the 3 years following Oslo was the highest rate of death of terrorism in the history of Israel. Since Oslo, 30 years since Oslo, we have more Jews and Arabs, by the way, killed than 30 years of occupation pre-Oslo. When we got out of Hebron, it boosted the terrorist.
That's because of the resistance to Oslo, not because of Oslo itself.
We got out of Gaza without any terms and conditions. We dug Jewish dead up. the whole concept of missiles started. I mean, there was a soldier who was kidnapped and hidden in Gaza. That never
But
happened.
hold on. You're running away from the issue.
So
because
I think
I have many answers to all your.
I just want to say, I think.
And by the way, the party that pulled out of Gaza was the Likud, not the left.
Kadima, it was Kadima, but it's irrelevant.
No, it was the Likud.
It was Sharon. He split up.
It was the Likud, and Netanyahu voted for that.
It was Kadima.
No,
Doesn't matter.
Sharon never led Kadima because he went into coma before Kadima ran to it. It was the Likud, and Netanyahu voted for it.
But it doesn't matter. I don't care who did it. I still don't believe in it. It doesn't matter.
No, because if we have done it, it would not be a unilateral withdrawal, but rather an agreement.
But Uri, the truth of the matter is that the right has always made the peace deals and the left has always brought war.
It wasn't a peace deal. That's,
no, I understand,
the thing.
but I'm saying historically it was Begin. It was never the left.
It was Begin.
The left always brought war. Whenever the left was in government, they brought war.
It's not true, but
Golda Meir was 73.
What about Lebanon? The first Lebanon?
Again, Tzipi Livni left the right-wing government.
No, the first Lebanon under Begin. Come on, don't. It's just just slogans.
What do you mean? What was slogan?
First Lebanon War
48 they attacked.
was initiated by the Begin
67
government.
was whom?
Okay, but
and you know what's funny? But the 67 war.
But let's talk about Abbas and Trump.
So again, I think Trump right now is really flashing his headlights, saying, "Hey, look at me. I don't think anything's going to happen." I'm waiting, by the way, till he comes to Jerusalem. I have a feeling that he's going to shock you more than he's going to shock me.
Let's see.
But I have to tell you, I don't believe
he can't shock me.
I don't believe.
The threshold for shocking me with the fact that he was elected shocked me.
So let me say something very, very clear. I myself was pro-Trump the whole elections. I don't know him, but I don't think he's a wonderful man. He's not a role model for my children.
And if he would put he would not impose anything, but he would put how they say in the mafia movies, a suggestion you can't refuse or a deal. Excuse me?
An ultimatum.
No, he would put, this is how I see things. This is the agreement I think that goes, Bibi, you should go for it. Abbas, you should go for it. What would you do? And obviously, like all his predecessors, such an agreement would include a significant withdrawal from Judea and Samaria,
as a sovereign state of Israel, I think we have a right to say no. In terms of
we have a right, but do we have such an option?
We have an option, I think. I think that when it comes to the danger of Israel, we certainly have an option, because every pullout that we've done in the past has only brought death and destruction. So I think that our brains, we call them Yiddish, our Yiddish kappa, or Jewish brains, will say, you know what, we've tried this several times. It never worked. We're not going to do it again. Do you understand, if we pull out of the areas that you would like to pull out?
Of course we'll do it again. It's just a question of time.
I'm saying,
because if not, we are doomed for the end of the state of Israel.
I think, but again, the statistics show that when we did pull out, we were doomed. Again, 30 years.
The statistics show that when we had a permanent status agreement with Egypt and Jordan, both of them really raised the security of Israel.
Both Egypt and Jordan brought to that table when they had no choice left. Egypt was destroyed after the 70 years. Destroyed. And this week, once again, the UNESCO organization has proven they are biased and have really there's no reason they should be around. They're not doing anything. The funny thing is this organization is about education, social, and culture. And what they did was they deleted Jewish history. And it's amazing to see. By the way, if those of you aren't aware, they had another vote. The number of voters who said that Israel has no connection to Jerusalem has gone down. So that's good news. But the fact of the matter is that this organization that stands for education and culture is actually deleting actual history. It's an unbelievably.
But that's not what wasn't the decision was that UNESCO doesn't see that Jerusalem is occupied. It's not part of sovereign Israel.
Which is the same thing you
But
think.
unlike in the past, not that I think that UNESCO is there to it doesn't have any political weight whatsoever. But unlike in the past, in past resolutions where, as you say, for instance, Temple Mount was only connected to Islam and the Jewish religion was not mentioned.
This time they admitted Jews actually lived in Jerusalem.
And they said it's sacred for all three religions.
Which it's not.
It's not sacred to all three religions?
Jerusalem's not mentioned in the Quran at all whatsoever. And Christianity, it's only sacred because it's Judaism.
It's a question of only what's mentioned in the Quran?
Of course it is.
You only follow the Bible and you don't follow the Mishnah and Talmud?
One second. In terms of what's holy for me, of course.
There are billions of Muslims who today regard, as part of their tradition, regard
there are
Jerusalem
billions-
as the
but
third.
There are billions of
the
Muslims who want to
third-
destroy Israel. What does that mean? So,
But this theological, I mean, you're doing exactly the same thing. What you just criticized UNESCO for doing. How can you tell other people from other faith what do they believe or disbelieve?
because feelings don't take over facts. I'm very happy.
Feelings.
Again,
Faith is a feeling.
I'm very
it's
happy
not,
that they feel that Jerusalem is holy to them. It was never a holy city for Islam ever in the history of the world.
Are you a Sharaik
listen to
teacher?
me.
How do you know?
Uri, name calling won't help. According to
No, I'm
Islam,
asking.
Jerusalem is not mentioned in the Quran. It was never a holy city for Islam ever.
Are you
It
an
was-
expert in Islam?
Absolutely, it was
Really?
Never, you don't.
What makes you an expert in
Uri,
Islam?
You don't have
It's
to.
really
You don't
interesting.
have to be an expert. If you can't argue with the point, it doesn't matter if I'm an expert or not.
Where does it say?
Jerusalem,
Where does it say
500
in
times,
the Bible?
500
Where does it say in the Bible, that you
Fi-
can't
Again,
eat
listen to me.
chicken with milk?
Again, listen to me.
Where does it say so?
Uri, I'll explain
But you
to
don't eat chicken
I will-
with milk.
I will explain to you again. In terms of Jerusalem, it's mentioned 500 times in the Jewish Bible.
Where does it say in the Bible, in the Hebrew Bible, that you cannot eat milk with chicken? And you don't eat
Listen to me.
meat
We're
with
not
chicken?
going to discuss.
Neither do I.
We can have a program.
No,
on
but answer me,
We
please.
can have a program on Jewish law if you'd like. But in terms of holy,
But why don't you answer?
Because I'm
it
explaining to you.
it's not
Because
written in
chicken
the Bible.
and milk is not about being holy. When you say
Come on.
when you say a city,
not everything is written in the Bible, and not everything is written in the Quran. And frankly, I don't care what's in the Quran.
Hold on. If you say that a city is holy for you, it's based on your religion.
It's about your faith, right?
Nowhere in Islam is Jerusalem mentioned as a holy city anywhere.
In the Quran.
Nowhere.
Yes, it is. Of course it is. There's a mosque there. This mosque is over 1,000 years old.
That's not a mosque.
Right, this is a mosque.
Right,
The Al-Aqsa is a mosque. And it's holy for over 1,000 years.
Means the farthest mosque. It was built when Muhammad was in Saudi Arabia. And there's even an argument within Islam if it's all here.
But to argue
There's
about
no argument
everything that's
between
written in the Bible is a pure scientific fact.
Uri, who's talking about science? I'm talking about religious views.
According to billions
Uri,
of Palestinians and Muslims around the world,
feelings,
it's a sacred place for them. How can you, a person of faith, just say these billions of people, their faith doesn't matter. It's only
no, their faith does matter. But
so you're an expert now in Islam. Are you Muslim?
Uri, I don't have to be an expert. There are facts. If you can refute
the
my
fact
facts,
is that many things are not written in the Bible either.
That's not what I'm saying. Listen carefully. According to Islam, Jerusalem was never a holy city. The only place that is Al-Quds,
so why
that is the mosque.
Why one of the earliest caliphs built their mosque?
That's a good question. When he built that mosque, he called the Jews back. That was not.
Oh, it was a mosque for the Jews.
It was a mosque for the Muslims in the corner of the Temple Mount. That's why he built it in the corner, not in the center.
Fine, but for the last over 1,000 years,
hold on,
it's
history,
only for Muslims. Why?
Historical facts.
You are doing exactly what UNESCO is doing.
They face Mecca. They turn their rear ends towards Jerusalem. It's not holy to them. I'm sorry.
What does it matter?
Because we pray towards Jerusalem.
But faith is something that is personal.
Uri, their faith doesn't call Jerusalem
holy. How can you know that? How can you say that?
Because I've done my research.
You know how many things are not written in the Bible, in our Bible? And you still practice them?
Again, I'm not saying not written. I'm saying according to the Islamic faith, find me a Muslim who says the city of Jerusalem is holy.
You know, there are many people who say that the Torah was not accepted in Mount Sinai.
Fine. They can say
because it doesn't say so in the Bible.
But again, that's not my point. I'm saying again, that's fine. I'm saying the following. Find me someone in Islam who says the city of Jerusalem is holy to them. One person.
It's called Haram al-Sharif.
No,
it's called sacred.
It's called that area where they built the mosque on our Temple Mount.
That's
called occupation.
It was about 700 years after Jews were never there anymore.
I see. So as long as we wipe them out and build on top of it.
I'm just saying that to disrespect. Okay, hold on. I'll just make my point. Just a second.
Yes.
I'm not saying Temple Mount is the most sacred place for Jews around the world.
Is it being occupied by Muslims now?
It's also very sacred for Muslims. To ignore that, that's a jihadic mindset.
No. Jihadic mindset is taking someone else's holy spot, building a mosque on it.
That's over 1,000 years. That's 1,200 years ago. 1,200 years ago.
Even though your prophet never stepped foot in.
The Romans took it from us.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque, which really called...
You have to talk with the Italian government.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque, which really called Beit al-Muqaddas, which means built on the temple.
Fine, but this is 1,200 years ago, man.
So occupation is okay after 1,200 years?
More than 1,200. It's like...
So occupation in your mind is okay after 1,200 years?
It's 1,500 years.
So how long does the occupiers need to occupy?
So what do you want? You want to wipe out the mosques now?
Well,
that's what you want to do?
You want to kick Jews out of their homes?
1,500?
You want to kick
1,500?
You believe...
That's crazy. That's jihadic mindset.
But you believe in kicking Jews out of their homes because you think we're built on their place?
You want to take one of the holy places for one of the big religions.
The holiest place for Judaism.
And to wipe out what's there? That's a jihadic mindset.
No. A jihadic mindset is building your mosque on the holiest place of Judaism.
But that happened 1,500 years ago.
So it's okay now?
And it's instead of a pagan temple that was there. What are you talking about?
The Jewish temple was a pagan temple?
No, but the Hadrianic temple for Jupiter the Capitolian that was built there after the temple was. Read your history.
Well, I'm reading history.
The Roman Emperor Hadrian built there a temple for Jupiter, and that was what was there.
So you're telling
and then the Byzantines came.
By the way, do you know what the Romans called? You know what the Romans called the area of Judea? You know what they renamed the area of Judea, the Romans?
Palestine.
Right. Which means the whole name of Palestine is a witness to the occupation.
What does that have to do with anything? So, as you mentioned earlier in the show, the past week was a heavy week for Israel. We have this connection between Memorial Day, where we respect the fallen, and then 24. There's a ceremony.
8 o'clock. Boom.
And at 8 o'clock, we move from grief to happiness on the establishment of the State of Israel after 2,000 years in exile. Now. During Memorial Day, obviously the most respected element of this sacred day, sacred in a how do you call it?
The holy sense,
national way.
But also in a holy sense, I think.
The most respected element are the bereaved families, families who lost their loved ones in the battlefield, in terrorist attacks, and. Few hundred of such families, bereaved families, chose, I think this is probably the 8th or 9th year, I don't remember, 12th year, to make a ceremony not only commemorating their loved ones, but also doing it with bereaved Palestinian families who also lost their loved ones in what they see the struggle for their independence, and to do it together in order to prevent future wars, not only to sacrifice or make holy the next victims, but to prevent them. Just a second, they did this alternative, what they call the alternative Memorial Day service. By the way, the Israeli government would not let the Palestinians come from the West Bank to that 300.
Okay. You as a Jew can't go to the Palestinian area. 300
Palestinians, bereaved families who wanted to join, so they were screened on a screen, and there's this guy called the Shadow, an unsuccessful rapper, a very violent one, very racist, and
has he done something violent?
Yes, many things.
What has he done?
And he called for his thugs to stop and destroy this ceremony, in which thousands of people participated. He, of course, did not succeed, but they spit on bereaved families, cursed them, told them, "I wish you were dead," and things like that. And I didn't hear any criticism from the Prime Minister, from the Minister of Education, from all those who read, I don't know, an article in the paper, say, "Oh, Gewalt," but when they see such horrific attitude towards bereaved families, nada.
Okay, so let me just react. First, I don't condone in any way or manner the spitting, the violence, and the cursing. It's not how I act. I don't think that's a political. There's no justification for me. It was wrong. Let's just go back for 1 second to what they were reacting to and what this ceremony was. First of all, Memorial Day in Israel is supposed to be a non-political day where everybody, right, left, religious, non-religious, and Muslim, and Arab, and Christian, who've lost their loved ones in wars and terrorist attacks can actually unite and remember those and respect their memory. That being said, the people who were running this ceremony were what's called Combatants to Peace. Combatants to Peace is being funded by 3 major organizations, which are government organizations, which also fund pure BDS activity, pure anti. I'll give you the names in 1 second. One second. Hold
the government
on.
of Israel is giving tax breaks to an organization that finances Jewish terrorist families. What does it have to do with it?
I'll let you talk for 3 minutes. Let me explain, okay? In terms of this whole ceremony, unfortunately, by the way, it was a political ceremony from A to Z. I watched it. The problem is that both.
Good, by the way. I'm happy to watch it.
One second. Afterwards, I wanted to see what I'm debating about. The breaking silence, in terms of the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung, ZFD Germany, these are all government organizations that funded this. And by the way, the Women Coalition for Peace are blatantly and vocally pro-BDS. 1 second, Uri. That means that this was not, unfortunately, a memorial. This was a political. Now, I want to show you just what happened. The Jewish person got up, and she spoke about her father, who was a retired general, I believe, who was hacked to death 39 times by an Arab terrorist. And then the Arab family got up and spoke about their son, who was pummeling the military, the IDF soldiers, with rocks and got killed that way. That comparison is offensive beyond belief. Now,
Why?
I want to say, 1 second. I want to say, I'm not going to judge the bereaved family even for a fraction of a second. I have nothing against them.
Both of them?
1 second. Hold on. No, not both of them. Absolutely not.
Because the Palestinian bereaved families, their grief is not sincere?
Because the Arab who was killed...
Throwing rocks.
Hold on. Again, the Arab who was killed was attacking military. Now, I don't care if he was throwing rocks, because if you want, I can give you a perfect example. On February 24th, 1989, cement block was dropped from a rooftop by a Fatah activist, Samir Nanaseh, on the head of Staff Sergeant Binyamin Meiser, who was killed.
It's not harmful.
We can go,
fatal. If you were a Palestinian,
June 5th, 2001, Yehuda Shalom, a 5-month-old baby was killed when a rock was hurled by stone throwers. These are fatal attacks. So when you attack the military,
first of all, out of
September 23rd,
hundreds of rocks,
2011,
hundreds of thousands of rocks, there are very few casualties.
Was killed when driving his car and was attacked by rocks.
For sure, it's dangerous.
No, fatal. That's what you don't understand. Fatal.
It's not fatal because most of the rocks that are thrown do not lead to that, and both of us know that.
The family car was attacked.
But what does it matter?
So when you attack the military and you get killed,
okay.
You get killed, it might be painful for the family, but that is not the same thing as terrorists hacking someone.
Ari, I don't want to go to that.
Uri,
but I'm asking something else.
Do you not see the difference between someone hacking someone in their home 39 times to death?
Hold on, Ari.
Uri, I just want to understand. Just tell me. Did you not see the difference between someone going to someone's home, hacking them to death 39 times?
So before we give the floor to a family member, I don't want to ruin the surprise. I just want to say I read some of the comments to your posts on Facebook, and they say, how can I say I'm a person of faith and I'm a secular Jew? So I just want to say that in Israel, the Israeli society, the Israeli Jewish society is kind of contrasted between the secular community and the religious community. And within the religious community, you have also the Haredi Jews and the Zionist, ultra-Orthodox and National Orthodox Jews. So I am a person of faith, but I'm part of the secular community, although I do believe in our religion.
Okay, so I have to read this to you. I didn't tell my daughter I was going to be doing this, but it was truly a very, very emotional. Again, the father of one of the guys who was killed in my unit is staying with me. And I spoke in the Mount Herzl where the soldiers are buried, and I spoke in different schools about soldiers. And then I got this poem from my daughter. And it really, here it is, written by Tamar Fold. I love green. I used to say green was my favorite color because it brought out my eyes. I used to say I like the color because it's a disguise. But there's one true reason for why it's the best. It reminds you of that guy behind the vest. Green reminds me that I can sleep at night. Green is something that holds me tight. I know I'm safe behind the green. Doesn't matter if kid, adult, or teen. The ones in green that stood once are the reason why we're standing now. I love the white and blue, but without the green, they wouldn't be, and that's the truth. You're always scared when your kids grow up that they don't get it. I'm not talking religion, they don't get it, how important this country is. Relevant right or left, I'm not talking how important it is. Thank God she's got it. I read that and I really brought tears to my eyes, it really did. So with that, I think, wow. All right, so, go ahead, finish off, or I'll give you the stage.
No, I think it was a good week eventually, and I'm looking forward for next show.
Absolutely.
Next week. Good night.